What is up, Hawk fans? This is, of course, the post game for Iowa's 116-85 beatdown at the hands of the Wisconsin Badgers. I'm smiling because of the pain that is within me. No. Maybe like last year or the year before, I would be in some sort of pain for a loss like this. But I have documented quite frequently the apathism that the fan base, including myself, when it comes to Iowa basketball, has started to feel. And this is exactly why. Now, I do want to preface everything that I'm about to unload by saying that Iowa does have a young team. I know Peyton Sandfort is a senior, but the nucleus of this team is young and they are strong. Now, in this day and age, though, that's not necessarily anything to bank on, as I didn't expect Tony Perkins to transfer. He gone. I didn't expect C.J. Frederick back in the day to transfer. He gone. I didn't expect Isaiah Moss to transfer. He was gone. Now, they had varying levels of success when they transferred. And it's even crazier now. I mean, with NIL, it's even crazier now. Every single offseason, programs are battling to retain the top guys on their roster. And for Iowa, it's going to be Owen Freeman, definitely Owen Freeman. It will be Brock Harding as well. You don't think that some of these upper tier teams wouldn't like to have a heady, savvy depth piece at point guard and Brock Harding? So, but still, assuming Iowa is able to keep all of their core pieces, which is a big if, not because it's Iowa, but just because of the nature of college sports right now, they do have a good, strong nucleus. But I posted on Facebook, same Iowa men's basketball team, different day. You know, same result, different day. I was not expecting this at all. This was a game that I looked at and thought that was a winnable game. On Bart Torvik, this game was basically a toss-up. Before the game started, this game was basically a toss-up. And if I remember correctly, Iowa I don't think they were favored. I think they were like -5 or something like that. But it was basically a toss-up. I thought Iowa had an excellent opportunity to pick up a quad one victory. Now, I should have realized Wisconsin is a very tough environment to play in, the Kohl Center. And, you know, Iowa, Fran McCaffrey has had varying levels of success or lack thereof with Wisconsin basketball. But this loss and how they lost is inexcusable. And yes, how you lose and how you win does influence whether you make the NCAA tournament or not, because it directly impacts your net rankings. And the good thing for Iowa, while they don't have any major signature wins this year, they also don't have any bad losses. All of their losses have been to solid teams, and they have competed with each and every one of them. Now, I don't think that this game is representative of this Iowa Hawkeye team, but myself and many others have been sounding the alarms of Iowa's inability to hit rebounds, Iowa's inconsistency at the free throw line, and their inconsistency on the defensive side of the ball, which most of that is because of their lack of rebounding. Let's look at the team stats here, guys. I mean, guys, to allow 116 points in a Big Ten game is absolutely 1,000% inexcusable. It is not acceptable. It is not okay. I cannot. I'm trying to see where I put my little. Okay, Wisconsin is going to be able to take this home for basketball, of course, as of right now. Unbelievable. So, individual stats, Josh Dix, 16 points. Drew Thelwell had a good game, and I have liked his emergence. But again, before the season started, I said that I didn't think that Drew Thelwell and Brock Harding could start together because they are too small. They're too small. Maybe if Owen Freeman was like a 7'2" big or like an extraordinarily good 6'10" rebounder, but he's not. He's not a bad rebounder, but he's not like what I would consider like an above and beyond, especially for his size, where he outperforms his size. He's not small for his size in college basketball, but still. Even in the Big Ten, there are some teams that have big old 7'1", 6'11" monsters. Owen Freeman is 6'10", but again, point is what it is. And he only had 3 rebounds in this game. That's not acceptable. And this is what I'm talking about. There is no reason why Owen Freeman cannot have 5 rebounds a game. There's absolutely no reason. But Drew Thelwell, yes, he's been a bright spot, but Iowa's starting 5 is extremely small. And Fran McCaffrey is going to have to figure out a way to turn that into even more of an advantage to compensate for their inefficiencies on the glass. Whether it be to press, whether it be to have more of an aggressive trap-style defense. The problem is, although Fran McCaffrey said that he worked on defense and that Iowa needed to improve defensively, we're seeing the same defensive schemes. It's mainly half-court, man-to-man, token pressure, very little pressure, no traps, no strategic traps for the most part. Every now and again, they go into their zone when they're facing a team that maybe isn't shooting the best, and they're better, they're more athletic. But it's the same old. And so with this starting 5, if you are going to have, in theory, a quicker, laterally team, you need to find a way to use that as an advantage defensively. Otherwise, this is what's going to happen. And man, this is crazy, guys. Iowa got beat by 31 points, 95, 105, 115. They got beat by 31 freaking points. And they scored 85. Unbelievable. But again, that's classic Iowa basketball. Josh Dix, 16 points. Owen Freeman, so Drew Thelwell, 25 points, 3 assists. Owen Freeman, 14 points, 3 rebounds. Peyton Sandfort played terrible, absolutely terrible. 2 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists. And again, this is what I've been saying all year long, guys. Peyton Sandfort, in the offseason, I said that he needed to become a more versatile scorer and find ways to score the basketball when his shot is not falling. And by and large this year, he has not done that. He is the same player, just more experienced, that he was last year. I was about to say his freshman year, but I'm not willing to say that. He is more of an advanced player, but I was hoping that we would see him get more of a mid-range game, more of a post-up game, more of a finding ways to come off screens like Peter Jock and getting buckets that way by getting to the free throw line, by stuff like that. And we haven't really seen it. Brock Harding had 10 points. I mean, if you look at Iowa's starters, not bad. I mean, they had double figures from all of their players except for Peyton Sandfort. But again, because they gave up 116 effing points to Wisconsin, it wasn't enough. Hell, even Bryce Sandfort had 10 points. Brock Harding, 10 points, 5 assists. Seydou Traore, 4 points, 2 rebounds. Cooper Koch, a.k.a. Cooper Coach, 2 points. Lajai Dembele, 2 points, 2 rebounds. And that's it. That's kind of the problem. I mean, Lajai Dembele is not like a crazy good rebounder either, but he's the next biggest guy or option that Iowa has outside of Owen Freeman. And Iowa and Fran McCaffrey is like going away from him. I wish Iowa would use Evan Bronze and Riley Mulvey more. They're big bodies, but I mean, this is what Fran McCaffrey is trying to play small ball. He's trying to play this situation where he has multiple wing options that are like 6'8" to or 6'6" to 6'8", and kind of go about it that way. And it's had varying levels of success this year. Just to contrast this, let's look at Wisconsin. Okay, Nolan Winter had 8 rebounds. John Blackwell had 8 rebounds. Stephen Kroll had 7 rebounds. So they had 3 guys in their starting lineup that had 5 or more rebounds. And let me tell you guys something. Yes, size has something to do with rebounding, but as the infamous Charles Barkley said, a majority of rebounding is pure desire. Wanting to rebound more than your opponent does. Wanting that ball off the rim, off the glass, more than your opposing player does. And Fran McCaffrey just is not doing enough to instill that in his team. Iowa plays hard, but Fran McCaffrey, his teams have lately become these kind of like finesse, offensive-minded teams without a ton of grittiness and physicality and bully ball. The last time Iowa had that was with Luka Garza, mainly on the shoulders of Luka Garza. I mean, that's crazy. I mean, even on the bench, they had a guy with 4 rebounds. The team stats, Wisconsin shot 65%, almost 66. They shot 65.6% from the field. That is inexcusable. Iowa shot 48.5. And Iowa shot the ball 5 more times somehow than Wisconsin did. Iowa went 9 of 24 from the free throw line. Terrible. You know, if Iowa makes 9 more free throws, that would be 94. They're that much closer to being in the game and putting pressure on Wisconsin. It wouldn't have been enough to win the game, but it would have put more pressure on Wisconsin. Actually, no, check that. That's 3-point percentage. Iowa shot 12 of 18, from the free throw line. Still, not good enough. Not terrible. They shot 66%. The 9 of 24 stat was their 3-point line. Wisconsin shot 67%, and they made 21 3-point shots against Iowa. That is unacceptable, not good enough. Iowa should be disgusted with themselves that they allowed Wisconsin to drain 21 frickin' 3-point shots in their faces. That is absurd. Wisconsin shot 88%, and they shot 1 less free throw than Iowa. But again, every little bit counts. Total rebounds. Wisconsin out-rebounded Iowa by 13 rebounds, 38-25. They got 15 more defensive rebounds than Iowa did, 30-15. Somehow Iowa won the offensive rebounding battle, but still. Assists. Wisconsin had 26 assists compared to 13. What that tells me, some of these stats, and I could see it in the game, is Wisconsin felt comfortable to do whatever they wanted the entire game. That they felt very little pressure to do anything out of what they wanted to do the entire game. They were the varsity squad. Iowa was the JV squad, and they were just whipping it around, passing it around. Whoop, whoop. 3-ball netted in the face. Wisconsin 0 blocks, Iowa 1. Steals 7-4. Turnovers 9-12 in favor of Iowa. Man. I mean, where does Iowa go from here? So just to wrap this up, I can't. The more I talk about this, the harder it is. I'm gonna tell you guys whether this is spells disaster for Iowa. But first, let's read David Eicholt's video. It was a disastrous night in Madison for the Hawkeyes as they fell 116-85 to Wisconsin. The Badgers couldn't miss from the three-point range, and Iowa let it have a domino effect. It was the highest total on the college basketball slate today, and it showed why early on. Wisconsin and Iowa were both hot out of the gate. The Hawkeyes managed to knock down 6 of their first 9 shots, while Wisconsin converted 5 of its 7. Drew Thelwell and Brock Harding each knocked down a 3 in the early going, while Josh Dix made 2 mid-rangers to put Iowa up 14-11 at the first break. The pace didn't slow down as both teams pushed it on both ends of the floor. Dix knocked down an impressive step-back three-pointer, while John Blackwell was the go-to Badger in the early going. Iowa's defense eventually found its foot and began to make things a bit frustrating for the Badgers, but the Hawkeyes' offense would stall a bit. Max Klesmit, John Tonje, and Nolan Winter would spark Wisconsin. They'd go on a 19-2 run to take the commanding 41-30 lead with 4:21 to go. Things wouldn't get better for the Hawkeyes as Wisconsin took a 54-43 lead into halftime. The Badgers are among the worst three-point shooting teams in the Big Ten. Of course they are. Of course they are. But knocked down 9 of their 13 attempts in the first half. Things wouldn't get any better in the second half. Blackwell scorched Iowa from all 3 levels while the Hawkeyes were getting out-hustled, out-rebounded, and outshot. Wisconsin held all the confidence. Greg Gard's crew opened up an 18-point lead within the first 4 minutes of the second half. The game spiraled out of control and Wisconsin refused to miss. Iowa doubled in the paint and the Badgers would splash open three-pointers. The Hawkeyes had shown signs this season of a defensive improvement, but the Badgers humbled them by doing whatever they wanted to. Wisconsin's 116 points are the most that they have ever scored in Kohl's Center. Of course! That happened against the Hawkeyes! Of course! The Badgers out-rebounded Iowa by 16, went 21 of 31 from 3, and had 5 players in double figures. Josh Dix has become one of the best two-way players in the conference. He's a true 3-level and takes care of the true 3-level scorer and takes care of the basketball when he's in charge. He's not a true point guard, but he's capable of making things happen. In a lopsided loss, Drew Thelwell, but it's important to give credit to Thelwell for what he did for Iowa tonight. Thelwell has looked more and more comfortable within the offense as time goes on. The Hawkeyes return home on January 7th to take on the Cornhuskers. That is a must-win game. That is a must-win. There's no other way to put it. That is absolutely a must-win. So just to wrap this up, guys, is this the end-all, be-all? No. Okay, it's not. But you know, you're never as bad as your worst loss, and you're never as good as your best win. And I do truly believe that. But Iowa has some inefficiencies, and I am not confident that if we have not started to see improvements by this point in the season, I am not confident that we will see them at any point this year. I'm just not. And when have you known a Fran McCaffrey team to improve on certain things such as defensive performance, rebounding, stuff like that? I just the rebounding, I do think from just like a non-Iowa perspective, the defense, or excuse me, the rebounding can improve, because I do believe that rebounding is as much passion and desire as anything else. Okay? I do believe that. But, and that should help the defense a little bit. But obviously, there's a problem when it comes to a Wisconsin Badgers team being able to basically get whatever they wanted. And I think a lot of that, and I already said this, has to do with Iowa's lack of creativity on the defensive side of the ball. Any creativity that Iowa has is almost completely reserved on the offensive side of the ball. And I know, I know I'm preaching to the choir here. A lot of Iowa fans have completely checked out of Iowa basketball. I understand that. And again, at the end of the day, this was a quad one game. Quad one games are very hard to win. But the way Iowa lost was inexcusable. This was terrible. And they have to get back to the drawing board. I'm not willing to say that it's over yet, because we have seen some good performances with disappointing results, but good performances nonetheless. The Iowa State game, the Michigan game. But the game against Nebraska is going to tell me a lot about this Iowa basketball team. And we have seen before Iowa basketball under Fran McCaffrey lay massive, stinky eggs and, get back to the drawing board and do okay. So we'll see, guys. I don't have much more to say. This was a bad loss, and time will tell. I don't think it's over yet, but Iowa enters must-win mode with a quad 2 game. It may even be a quad 1 game by the time. No, it'll still be a quad 2 game, because for a home game it has to be 1 through 25. I don't think Nebraska is in the 25. But looking at Iowa's schedule just really quickly, just to give you guys, I did this before and I thought that this was a winnable game. Including this game, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way up to the Ohio State game. Okay, the next, so including this game, the game against Nebraska, 2, 4, 6, and the game against Penn State. Iowa has a game against Indiana, USC, UCLA. Both of those games are on the road. Minnesota, Penn State. They need, including this loss, they can maybe afford to lose 1 or 2 more games. And, preferably it would be the UCLA game. But again, Iowa needs to pick up a quad 1 victory if they want to make the NCAA tournament. So that's not even preferable, honestly, for them to lose. But if you're going to lose, quad 1 games are the best games to lose. So I would say, including this game, they need to finish 5-2, 4-3 in this current 7-game stretch. Preferably 5-2, even more preferable 6-1, with the only loss being this one. But at this point in time, I don't see that being the case. I think it would be very hard for Iowa to go on a 6-game win streak moving forward. All right, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to hit that subscribe button. The channel is really growing. The videos have had a lot of viewers lately. Thank you guys so much for your support. I really do appreciate it. And last but not least, DBAP, don't be a pussy willow in facts or feelings, because your feelings just don't matter. Let me know what you guys, because your feelings just don't matter. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Go Hawks. Hang in there, guys. Bye-bye.